Welcome to the Daily Review. This is Razak, Senior Trading Strategist here at CMTrading, and today is December 19th, 2024, and today is Thursday morning. So looking at the highlights of the day, U.S. markets tank after the Fed decision, but first looking at today's major economic events. So we start out the day at 2 p.m. South African time. First coming out of Great Britain, we have an official bank rate decision, and then at 3:30 South African time from the United States, a final GDP number coming out. Now looking at the various markets, starting out the Forex symbols, the U.S. dollar strengthens versus the major pairs. And as we look at the indices, the Dow Jones and the NASDAQ both sell off aggressively. Now looking at commodities, gold and oil do retrace as well. Looking at stocks, they sold off, but Tesla kind of held on. We're going to look at that. And lastly, looking at cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin also retraced but held on to 100K as support. So let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. So I'm going to zoom out here on the US dollar, Canadian dollar, okay, which is really very important because we're starting out with a monthly chart, and you can see how far we've just diminished ourselves from 120 where we were in 2020 to now 144. Now we're closing above this 140-ish level, which means that it's a bona fide. It's not just a spike. It's bona fide that it's in this area. And if it does break 147, we could see it going back to all-time record lows on 160. So keep this on the radar. US dollar, Japanese yen also. Japanese yen get very, very weak versus the dollars. You can see here as that took it in. The Turkish lira made new record lows, hit that round number of 35. So, and the Australian dollar continues to weaken. And look at that. It's just on its all-time supportish level. You can see it. It's right there. All right. If it does break this area of 60 and it continues going down, well, that's going to be new record lows for the Australian dollar as well, as that hasn't been this weak in a very long time, since 2000, 2002, which is 24 years ago, 22 years ago. So that's a big retracement there. Now looking at gold did have a sell-off, but then spiked right back, okay? Crude oil did retrace a little bit and sold off, but nothing to really write home about. Let's take a look at the U.S. markets. Check this out. This is over 1,000 points. Look at that. Went from 43,000 down to 42. Now this morning we're just opening up a mid-level here. Let's see if we get a rebound. Could still be that we get some sort of rebound. And looking at the NASDAQ also, look at that massive sell-off that we had yesterday. Let's look at a 4-hour chart. But it's gapping up this morning and holding itself up. So I would look for that, short squeeze on the upside. And let's see if we get it. Now looking at the individual stocks, Apple sold off aggressively. All the FANG stocks sold aggressively. If you look at Facebook, sold very aggressively. If you look at Microsoft, also sold very aggressively. So all the FANG stock really got hit the worst here out of all the stocks. And at this stage, you're just looking for the bounce, okay? Because ultimately, this is a knee-jerk reaction. Let's see if the market does really absorb this and does really believe it. But guess what didn't go down so much? Tesla. I mean, Tesla did sell off, but it wasn't like as aggressively as everything else. So this is really super important to keep note. And lastly, let's take a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin retraced to its 100K and just dipped below 100K and made itself up. And that is supportish level. 100K for Bitcoin right now is going to be significant support level for it, so keep that in mind as well. So a few things happening today in the markets with news coming out, but just take it very easy because the markets are going to be quite volatile with everybody just digressing and digesting what the Fed's decision was yesterday and moving forward. This is the Fed Razak. I want to wish you guys a great trading day. Thank you.